I do laser portrait engraving. There are 8 steps every single time. I thought, surely AI can automate this. I'm Mick. This is Limey Cottage Crafts, where AI meets the workshop. And together we discover what actually works. My starting point is to take the workflow and put this into my AI, which in this instance is Claude. I give it the prompt and see what it produces. You will see I use a role and context approach to define who the AI is, the persona, and what situation it operates within the background. This aids highly accurate, relevant, and tailored outputs. In summary, I am asking for the workflow to be automated for use in Photoshop where possible. I am not a Photoshop expert, but do need to use it to help turn photos into optimized engraving ready images. Because I anticipate repeating this action frequently, it makes sense to automate where possible. This is where actions come in. Photoshop actions are recorded sets of tasks, such as resizing, color correction, or applying filters, that automate repetitive editing workflows with a single click. Actions have the file extension .atn, and we can see that is what Claude is developing. The ATN file has been created as well as the how-to guide to accompany it. Recognizing that not all tasks could be automated, I wanted to have clarity. This is what the how-to guide looks like. We can see that we will still need to manually perform retouch, crop and replace the background, but after that we can automate the process. Let's try this in Photoshop. Looks like we have an issue. This was created by the AI, so let's see if Claude can fix this. It looks like AI can fix this, so let's try again. Nope, still same result. Slightly frustrating. I shared with the error to clarify. I also remembered reading recently that an AI will always attempt an answer unless you tell it differently, so I thought it was time to be straight. I know I can record the steps myself, but this video is about seeing how helpful and accurate AI can be. So now we try the .jsx script. Another prompt here and a reminder to update the how-to guide. We try again following the instructions for running the .jsx script. Even the automated system still raises the usual prompts for this action. Different approach, same result. Well, we did make some progress. At least we were able to transform into grayscale, but then we stop again. It looks like we have a convert mode issue, which Claude is confident can be changed. I'm getting slightly skeptical now. Another fix, once more with feeling. Yet another fail. Time for a reality check and see if we are going to make any progress. Well, at least the grayscale still works. Now we have pressed Claude, the AI admits that this is not fixable. I am a woodworker, not a developer, so getting involved with coding is not how I see me spending my time. Both Claude and I are agreed that currently the only workable solution will be to record the actions manually. 3 different errors, 3 different root causes, all tracing back to the same underlying problem. It's important that we take a moment here. The AI wasn't wrong because it's bad at coding. It was wrong because Adobe is actively dismantling the API it was coding against, and that information isn't consistently documented anywhere. We will try to understand this better in the next chapter. If you rely on Photoshop automation, actions, JSX scripts, production workflows, there's something you need to understand. Adobe is replacing a 20-year-old scripting system, but they haven't fully turned the old one off. In Photoshop 2026, both systems are running at the same time, ExtendScript and UXP, and that creates a strange no man's land where legacy code doesn't always break, but it doesn't always behave either. This isn't speculation. It's an acknowledged migration. Today, I'll explain what's actually happening and what it means for anyone building serious automation. In the Adobe ecosystem, .jsx JavaScript extended is the standard file format for ExtendScript, a dialect of ECMAScript 3. It is used to automate repetitive tasks, create custom tools, and extend the functionality of applications like After Effects, Photoshop, and Illustrator. Photoshop actions.atn files are saved, automated sequences of steps such as effects, color grading, or resizing that allow you to edit images with a single click. They are crucial for improving workflow efficiency and ensuring consistency across projects. Originally released in 1999, ES3 JavaScript remains the core of ExtendScript, and although it has been stable for the last 2 decades, it has since been superseded. Adobe's Unified Extensibility Platform, UXP, is a modern, high-performance architecture replacing the legacy system for building plugins in Creative Cloud applications. It enables JavaScript, HTML and CSS-based plugins to directly interact with native application APIs using a V8 JavaScript engine, providing faster rendering, smaller footprint and native UI via Spectrum components. ExtendScript has now reached the end of its active development lifecycle. While it is not yet fully removed from most Adobe applications, it is officially classified as a legacy platform. The future development is now focused on Adobe Unified Extensibility Platform. Running two systems inevitably causes instability. Legacy scripts behave unpredictably. APIs diverge, meaning systems that may have worked for years suddenly stop working. With no confirmed cutoff timeline, any new development will need bespoke solutions, which in turn suggests the potential for legacy debt until this is resolved. Adobe commenced rollout of UXP in 2020, focusing initially on Adobe XD and Photoshop. And although Photoshop has largely been converted, active requests exist for better timeline/animation API support. However, the work across the Adobe infrastructure continues, and as the developer forums state, the end game for this work has not been shared. So what does this mean for developers? The simple answer is a bit more work, at least in the short term. In addition to retracing legacy scripts where problems arise, any new development will need extra care. You cannot reuse code or apply existing patterns and expect them to just work. To protect against redundancy, developing skills in UXP becomes a necessity, translating existing code from .jsx into UXP where necessary. The trend towards using AI to generate code will struggle in this environment, as we have seen. Perhaps there is a place for AI-generated code as a first pass that is then refined to work. I am not a developer, so do not know if this is quicker than just writing code from scratch. I'm not a Photoshop developer. I was just trying to automate part of a workflow, and I expected AI to be able to generate an action file or a JSX script to do it. But what I discovered is that Photoshop is in the middle of a major architectural transition. AI wasn't failing, it was running into a moving target. ExtendScript is legacy, UXP is the future. And right now, both systems exist at the same time. So before assuming automation is simple, it helps to understand the platform underneath it. That context changes everything. Rather than end this video on a negative note, it is time to find what we can do. We had hoped that AI could generate the actions for us, but as this is a fairly simple process, let's record them manually. I have pulled up a generic image as a focus for the workflow, but apart from having a quality image, I am not looking to engrave this. From our original flow, we know that we need to manually retouch, crop and remove, replace the background, so let's do that. Now the eagle-eyed amongst you will notice I neglected to replace the background, but as this is purely to record the next actions, I let it go this time. I created a new action folder and then a set for the grayscale. Again, I might have been tidier here, but this is about ensuring it works. Now I have a target for my actions. I can hit record and walk through the process. It's time to see if these work. I will open a new photo to see if our automation works. I once again perform the manual tasks, remembering the background this time. I select the top level of the action and press play. Nothing seems to happen, but when I check the image size, which is the last step I see, this has completed. So that was very quick. So there you have it, our actions have been automated, even if we needed to record to achieve this. The starting point for this video was to have AI exploit automation within Photoshop, a process that seems simple but quickly failing. At first glance, the culprit seems obvious. However, Photoshop isn't broken, it's transitioning. Adobe is replacing a 20-year-old scripting architecture with something modern and future-focused. That's a necessary evolution. But right now, we're in the overlap, where legacy, ExtendScript and modern UXP are both alive. And that creates instability for automation workflows. The migration is real, the timeline is still unfolding, and the practical move today is simple. Understand the shift and prepare for it. This entire video was edited in Adobe Premiere Pro, part of the same Creative Cloud subscription, whose scripting API broke the automation. I cannot help noticing the irony in the situation. AI is an extraordinary starting point, but it cannot know the current state of a proprietary, actively changing platform. It's working from training data that may be months old, and Adobe doesn't publish a clear changelog of what's broken. The lesson isn't don't use AI, it's understand what AI can and can't know, and know when to verify against reality. Anyone else experiencing automation problems in Creative Cloud? If you like this type of content, like and subscribe.